Look closely, see the stillness, the perfect, unsettling green silence of the predator. For centuries, we've admired the praying mantis, named for its deceptively pious posture, a pose of perpetual, patient supplication. But what exactly is it praying for? And more chillingly, what is it praying to? We call them the silent assassins of the insect world, masters of camouflage, creatures whose very existence feels like a well-crafted jump scare delivered by Mother Nature herself. And yet, the true horror, the kind that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up and check if you lock the back doors on T in their lethal efficiency. No, the real problem is existential. It's theological. It is, to put it mildly, The Praying Mantis Problem. Too many gods, too little time. The story begins, as all good horror stories do, in a mundane setting, a suburban backyard. Circa 1987, a perfectly normal patch of lawn. The kind of place where the biggest threat is an errant frisbee. Here, an amateur entomologist named Dr. Alistair Finch, a man whose life ambition was apparently to give an identity crisis to a beetle mate, a discovery that should have changed nothing, but instead, changed everything. Finch wasn't looking for a new species. He was simply trying to document the surprisingly complex mating rituals of the European mantis, Mantis rosea. Yes, the one where the female occasionally decides the male would be better utilized as a postcoital snack. Darkly funny, you see, efficient. But what Finch captured on his dated, grainy video was a moment that defied biology. The female mantis, moments before the gruesome head roll, wasn't just observing her prey. She was performing. Her raptorial forelegs, the ones usually locked in that iconic prayer, were moving in a series of incredibly intricate, non-random patterns. They were gestures, signals, almost sign language. And the male wasn't reacting in fear. He was responding. Finch, initially convinced he had filmed an arthropod tango, played the footage back. Again and again. He noticed a detail so small, so insignificant, that anyone else would have missed it. As the female performed her eerie silent ballet, her body would subtly shift, aligning her eyes not with the male, but with a specific, faint cluster of stars, visible only on that night, in that exact spot. He cross-referenced the alignment, and the chilling truth dawned on him. She wasn't praying to a general deity. She was calculating. She was making a cosmic appointment. The common mantis, the one you find lurking near your porch light, wasn't just a perfect killing machine. It was a perfect occultist, and its ancient, lethal ritual was not for biological survival, but for something far stranger. It was a plea, a sacrifice, a highly organized petition to an entity that existed not in our world, but slightly adjacent to it. Dr. Finch, bless his naive heart, thought he had found one ancient mantis god. The truth, as it always is, was a far more labyrinthian nightmare. What Dr. Finch later discovered, the discovery that drove him to trade his comfortable suburban home for a reinforced tinfoil-lined bunker in rural Montana, was the sheer, mind-boggling scale of the problem. It wasn't a single mantis god. It was a pantheon, a bizarre, hyperefficient, arthropod bureaucracy of the divine. Finch began collecting data, cross-referencing mating rituals with astronomical events, seasonal shifts, and even fluctuations in local magnetic fields. What emerged was a terrifying color-coded calendar. The common green mantis, it turned out, dedicated its short, sharp life to propitiating the elder god of the unblinking stare, known cryptically in Finch's notes as the listener beyond the leaf. This entity demanded precision and, yes, a fresh snack. The Chinese mantis Tenno data, Sinensis larger, and arguably more dramatically intimidating, had pledged its fealty to a different, more demanding patron, the scheduler of seasons, whose worship required perfect symmetry and a ritual performed precisely at the equinox. Then there was the orchid mantis, all delicate pink and white, a creature that looks like it belongs on a wedding cake. Its god, the beautiful horror, required a ceremony so complicated, involving 7 separate leg adjustments and a specific wing flutter, that it could only be successfully performed once every 19 years. Finch realized the sheer chaos. There are over 2,400 recognized species of mantises on Earth, and every single one, it seemed, was praying to a different, equally powerful, and potentially world-ending deity. They weren't unified. They were a swarm of highly ambitious, small-scale cult leaders, each trying to get their own god to answer the cosmic equivalent of a customer service call first. It was a spiritual rat race. Too many gods, too little time. The implication was that the mantis life cycle itself wasn't driven by simple evolution, but by a frantic, never-ending competition to appease their individual patron deity before another species. God could manage to plunge the Earth into a species-specific, highly specialized form of eternal darkness. It gave a whole new meaning to the phrase, time is of the essence. The dark humor of it all is this: these ancient, lethal perfectionists are essentially waiting for their turn in the cosmic queue. And all of us humans, dogs, trees, reality itself, are just standing around, waiting for one of them to finally make their sacrifice click. Every sudden silence in the garden, every perfectly executed pounce, is another tick closer to the moment one of the mantis gods finally says, "Petition accepted." And when that happens, well, Dr. Finch's tinfoil hat won't be looking quite so funny then, will it? If the terrifying theological complexity of a tiny insect leaves you with a delicious chill, don't let this cosmic clock run out. Smash that subscribe button, ring the notification bell to stay perfectly aligned with our schedule, and tell us in the comments below, which praying mantis god do you think has the best chance of answering their prayers first, the efficient listener beyond the leaf, or the geometrically demanding scheduler of seasons? Your vigilance might just be the only thing separating us from a multi-species, synchronized apocalypse.